For this repair, you're going to need a 10mm socket, short extension, a ratchet, a 15mm crowfoot attachment, some penetrating spray to help because the sensor is going to be pretty difficult to remove. More than likely, a breaker bar to give yourself a little help, and the replacement part. This is part number WT5149. And then you're going to need an olive to help you. Unfortunately, most of you don't have an olive. This one's just for me. Let's get going. If your check engine light's on and you're getting an error code P0128 for a coolant thermostat, we're about to take care of the solution for this. Stick around. On this 2006 Chevrolet Colorado, the coolant temperature sensor is this wire right here, located just in front of the firewall in the center of the engine bay. It connects, if you can see that, follow this wire down, right there on the inside of the block. And there's an electrical clip connection just behind this air intake cover. So to begin, we're going to remove this to make more room to be able to access the clip for the electrical connection. Then after that, we'll use a 15mm crow's foot to be able to remove the sensor from the block. First thing we're going to do is loosen this worm gear clamp to be able to remove the intake hose, the air intake hose. And then there's two 10mm bolts, one here and one here, along with removing the plastic housing from this side of the intake. And then that will allow us to remove this part to be able to get to that clip a little easier. I also removed or loosened the worm gear clamp from this end of the intake hose that was here, so I could just completely remove it out of the way. Once you've removed your 10mm bolts, loosened your clamp here, this will pull out. Underneath this air intake, there is a small vacuum line that connects right here. Just want to make sure I can lift that off and leave it connected to the bottom there. Just set that aside. I'm going to cover this with just a little bit of a paper towel just to keep from getting anything inside there. It may not be necessary, but I want to do that just to be on the safe side. So there's the end, our electrical connection for our coolant temperature sensor. To remove this clip, to squeeze really hard on the top here. At the same time, pull this away to the right side. Under this clip, there's actually a little hold down that holds it into a little hole on the top of the block here. You can just pull that out. I'll go and just pull that out to begin with. There we go. You see this piece here. We're going to transfer this piece over to the new one. It just slides into a groove on the bottom and kind of locks in. So now we'll just remove the top of that clip. Squeeze here and pull. I'm going to turn the camera off. It'll take two hands. I ended up having to use a breaker bar to get the old sensor down here broken free. But once I did, I was able to remove it pretty well by hand. But you need to go fast, because unless you drain your coolant system, coolant's going to start coming out of that hole. So have your new part ready, pull the old out, put the new in, and you won't lose too much. That's what I did. I took a shortcut. Now I've got the new sensor hand threaded in. I'm going to use my 15mm crowfoot attachment to snug it in place, reconnect my wiring harness, put our intake cover back on, and we should be good to go. Don't forget to take this hold down piece off of the old clip and put it on your new one. It's pretty simple. Just run a flat blade screwdriver underneath this. That'll raise that up just a little bit, and it'll slide out towards the wires here. Take that one off, pop it on the new one, snap everything back together. Now that the new sensor has been bolted in place, that's snugged down with my 15mm crow's foot. Just need to plug it back together and put things back where we took them out, and it should be good to go. All right, the coolant temperature sensor has been replaced. Started the car up, plugged in the code reader, erased the previous codes. Check engine light is now off, showing no stored codes in the system. Looks like we should be good to go. Car actually seems to be running a lot smoother too. It used to bottom out, the RPMs used to bottom out after revving and coming back down. They would drop to 0 and the car would try to die. So that seems to have done the trick. Hope this helped you guys.